Viewer discretion is advised. This topic is about sex and being multiple. I would highly recommend, if some of the older alters are listening, if they could please either muffle the littles' ears or put them in an area in the inside world where they can't hear this conversation. When you are a survivor, and I'm just going to say survivor in general, not just being MP, but when you are a survivor and one of the ways that you were abused was because of sexual abuse, being sexual and having sex can be very tricky. You could go either way. You could be completely shy of sex, where you don't want sex. You don't really see the purpose of sex. You are okay being asexual. Asexual meaning that you just don't desire sex. Or you could go the other way, or the other extreme, where you see it as a way to lose yourself in sex, and you have an insatiable appetite for sex. When I was younger, I was on this side. I had an insatiable appetite. I thought that the only way that I could get people to like me was to be sexual. I have since found a nice middle ground. Sex and being multiple. That is a tricky combination. When I was first diagnosed, when I was first aware that I was MP, I was with someone, and she was new to the whole MP thing, just like I was, but we tried very hard to communicate our needs with each other. And when I say communicate needs, I mean exactly that. You can't have a good relationship with someone unless you communicate your needs and your wants and your desires, and they do the same thing. And that includes sex. When you're with someone who has had a sexual abuse background, you have to approach sex delicately. It's a very touchy situation. When you're MP, you have to have some rules and some guidelines, especially if some of your alters are also going to have sex with your partner. I personally don't see anything wrong with it. If there's an understanding and it's consensual, I don't think, when you're with someone and they're having sex with your alters, as long as everybody's on the same page and everybody understands, okay. Now, what happens when you're having sex and a little pops out? Well, you stop and you try to cover up as much as possible. And if they're out because they think they need to come out to protect the core, talk it out. Be patient. Hopefully your partner will explain enough to the little that what's going on is consensual and it's something that you both want. Having a system set up with the protector alters or some of the older alters who understand that you do want sex and that you do want to share that intimacy with your partner. Perhaps setting up a system with them to keep the littles occupied while you're having sex will help the situation, help everybody involved. I was asked how to how to deal with sex and being an MP. And basically, you just have to baby step your way through it. You have to test the waters. You have to be patient, be extremely patient. Sexual abuse survivors are very guarded when it comes to their bodies, and just being allowed to be with someone who has been sexually abused is just a privilege. That means they trust you. That is something that I was very fortunate with when Melissa and I first were together. She understood that I would be guarded, and she understood that just the idea of being touched sometimes is just very overwhelming. And we've been together long enough now, 11 years, and she knows how to read me and knows when to back off and stuff like that. But when it comes to sex, give yourself time. Give yourself time to understand what your partner wants and communicate. Gosh, that is such a key to a great relationship, is to communicate and be honest. I'm not in the mood. I'm having a rough day. I can't be touched right now. Hopefully you're with someone who can understand that part. And if not, see if they can be educated about what it's like to be a sexual abuse survivor. And don't beat yourself up too much. You've been through a lot. Be patient with yourself, especially when it comes to sex. There's no need to rush into it. There's no need to tell yourself, this is the only way that this person's going to like me. If they like you, they will like you regardless of the sex or not. Just don't beat yourself up if you are with someone and you can't have sex right now. That's neither here nor there. You have to feel right with yourself before you can feel right with someone else. Just be patient.